This is First Coast Math Clinic with Lesson 4, Proportions with Fractions and Decimals, from Unit 4, Ratios and Proportions, from our Pre-algebra and Algebra curriculum. So the goal of this video is to write and solve proportions with decimals and fractions. So in the previous video, we looked at an introduction to proportions, how to solve proportions using cross multiplication. In this video, we're going to work with proportions and solve proportions involving fractions and decimals. But first, let's do a quick review on what proportions are. So in the previous video, we talked about proportions. We said proportions basically are an equation stating two ratios are equal. So they look something like this. So our ratio AB is equal to CD. And to solve our proportion, we're going to use cross multiplication. We're going to multiply A times D, bring down the equal sign, multiply C times B, and we get AD equals CB. And this is the equation that we're going to be solving. So the basic cross multiplication, numerator times denominator, bring that down, bring down the equal sign. And then from our second ratio, cross multiply numerator times denominator and bring that down. So we're going to do that with our problems today that specifically deal with decimals and fractions. Okay, so if you have proportions that involve decimals and fractions, you can check out this video and that's what we're going to get into. So let's get into a couple examples. So number one, we've got 1.2 over 0.3 equals x over 0.5. So we're going to cross multiply 1.2 times 0.5. Let's bring down the equal sign. And let's multiply x times 0.3. So I made another video on multiplying decimals, all right? I'm going to do this one really quickly, but if you want to check out how to multiply decimals, you can check out the link for the video that's going to appear right now. But let's just do this example really quickly. So I've got 1.2 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. Now we're going to count our decimal places. 1, 2, and that's the place value. We're going to move our decimal in the answer. 1, 2, so our answer should be 0.6. So we'll get 0.6 equals 0.3x. So now let's solve for x. Divide by 0.3. Divide by 0.3. 0.3 divided by 0.3. Get 1 and 1. So let's do our division over here, just a quick review. So we've got 0.6 divided by 0.3. So if we want to divide decimals, we can move our decimal the same distance, same direction. So move my decimal one place and one place. So this basically winds up being 6 divided by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So x is going to be 2. So our answer here should be 2. All right. So again, we used our cross multiplication to solve this. Let's get into our next problem. So number 2, we've got fractions. So I've got 1 over 3 over x equals 2/3 over 3/5. So let's cross multiply 1/3 times 3/5. Bring down the equal sign. And then the other side, 2/3 times x. So just review this multiplication, right? I did another video on multiplying fractions. If you want to check out that video, the link is going to appear right now. But again, just multiplying these out, we want to multiply straight across. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Equals 2/3 x. So we've got 3 over 15. Let's reduce this. So our GCF, greatest common factor, for 3 and 15, we can break up 3 into 1 times 3, 15 into 5 times 3, right? 3 is just 1 times 3, 15 is 5 times 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1 and 1, so this fraction simplifies to 1 over 5. All right, so I'll make our math a little bit easier to do. So now we've got 2/3 times x. Let's undo multiplying and divide by 2/3. Divide by 2/3. So on the right side, 2/3 divided by 2/3. The entire fractions are going to cancel out. We're going to be left with 1 and 1. So I'm going to rewrite this up here. So we basically have 1/5 divided by 2/3 equals x. Well, let's take this. I have 1/5 divided by 2/3. And this is an important skill that you guys should hopefully see. It's good to see. Let's write this. This is written vertically. Let's write it horizontally. So let's do 1/5 divided by 2/3. Now we're dividing fractions. All right, so how do we divide fractions? We want to change the operation to multiplication. So I'm going to keep that first fraction. I'm going to change division to multiplication. I'm going to take the reciprocal of the second fraction. So 2 over 3 becomes 3 over 2. Now I'm going to multiply straight across and straight across. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 2 is 10. Just bring down the x equals, and my answer x equals 3 over 10. So we should get 3 over 10 here. All right, so again, just going through this, we cross multiplied. 1/3 times 3 over 5. We got 3 over 15. 3 over 15. We divided 3 and 3, so 3 over 15 became 1 over 5. 2/3 times x, so we got 2/3 x. We had to get that x by itself, so we divided by 2/3 and 2/3. So that took us to here. So we have 1/5 divided by 2/3. Instead of writing it vertically, we wrote it horizontal here. Then we used our division rule when we're dividing fractions. So we changed our division to multiplication, took the reciprocal of that second fraction, the fraction we're dividing by, 1/5 times 3 over 2, and then just multiplied straight across. And that's our answer, x equals 3/10. All right, let's do one more example. So here we've got 1 over 4 over 2 over 3 equals y over 6. So we've got fractions in this first ratio and just 4 over 6 in the second ratio. So let's do this. Let's multiply 1 over 4 times 6. And to make that a fraction, I'm going to put the 6 over 1. Let's bring down the equal sign. Let's multiply y times 2/3. So we have 2/3 y. On the left side, let's multiply straight across. So we get 6 over 4 equals 2 over 3. And we got 6 over 4. So we can reduce that. I'm going to leave it as an improper fraction, but I just want to reduce this a little bit. So we know 6, we could break that up into like 2 times 3. 4, we could break that up into 2 times 2. Okay? And we can divide out 2 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2, well, that's 1 and 1. And we're left with just 3 over 2. So I can write that up here, right? 6 over 4. It's a 6, write that a little neater. So that reduced to 3 over 2 equals 2 over 3y. So now we're going to do the same thing we did in the previous problem. I want to get that y by itself, so let's divide by 2/3. Divide by 2/3. 2/3 divided by 2/3 on the right gives me 1 and 1. I'm going to write this horizontally. So this left side horizontally, 3 over 2 divided by 2 over 3. Now we can use our division rule, right? We don't want to divide our fractions. We want to change them to multiplication. So I'm going to keep that first fraction, 3 over 2. Division changes to multiplication. 2 over 3 becomes 3 over 2. And let's bring down bring up the y. All right, so keep the 3 over 2. I changed division to multiplication, and I took the 2 over 3 and I made it 3 over 2. Now I'm going to multiply straight across. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 2 is 4. And our answer is going to be 9 over 4. Now, if we want to write that as a mixed number, well, let's divide that out. 4 goes into 9 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract, and we get 1 left over. And that 4 is going to be in our denominator. So as a mixed number, we're going to get 2 and 1/4. So our answer is either 4/9, or just 9/4 as an improper fraction, or 2 and 1/4. Okay. So this was video number 4, proportions with fractions and decimals. We did 3 examples involving proportions with fractions and decimals, so our cross multiplication was the same. We just had a few more operations with fractions and decimals, multiplying fractions, multiplying decimals, dividing fractions. So it's a good thing to review those basic operations with fractions and decimals. I have a number of videos on multiplying and dividing fractions and decimals, so you can check those out if you're struggling with any of those. So I'll post those at the end of this video. If you guys like this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I hope these videos are helping you guys. First Coast Math Clinic.